Good evening. Yes, indeed. We expected a close call, and the polls suggest that it would be close, but nobody expected it to be that close. So, a lot of people have had very little sleep last night in Germany following this.
I'm sure. The Social Democrats, though, claiming that they have a mandate, do you think they are the most likely? Are they the ones that, given the slight shift to the left, have the real mandate to go forward?
I would say so, yes, because there were also two federal elections and they were the strongest party in both of those as well. So there is a clear appetite for the Social Democrats to take the lead. But at the same time, it's a hugely complicated landscape, and we will have to wait a few months at least to see whether they will manage to form a government.
So this is so interesting. Tell us about this elephants round table, as it's known, as where the horse trading happens.
Yeah, elephants round table, I think, is a very German concept, but I was told that now some of the neighboring countries are using it as well. It's all the big names of politics coming together to try to agree on issues. And we had some before the election, and now there will be more. But I think the really interesting talks this time will happen behind closed doors. So I'd really like to be like a mouse sitting in some of those conversations, especially between the junior partners in the likely governments. So that's where the really interesting discussions are probably going to happen.
All right, let's look at those discussions, those possibilities. The Social Democrats, the Greens, are they likely to be could they be the backbone of any new coalition?
Probably. So there is the traffic light coalition. That's one of the likely outcomes between the Social Democrats, the Reds, and then the yellow for the Liberals and green for the Green Party. But there's still a lot of disagreements, especially between the two junior partners, so the Liberals and the Green Party. So there's also a Jamaica coalition possibility, and a lot of those are thrown around at the moment in the discussions. And it's really something that will depend on the junior partners. They have a lot of power in these conversations, and that's a really unknown phenomenon in German politics. We haven't had a situation like this since the beginning of the Federal Republic in 1949.
So which parties do you think are the strongest junior parties at this point?
It's definitely the Greens and the Liberals, and they are likely to be involved in any government because there will probably be at least three parties involved in the government. And then the question is, are they going to work with the SPD, which is more likely, but is not guaranteed? They could also work with Armin Laschet and the CDU.
Yeah. So what are the chances of that? Of course, they didn't get a great showing, but still, 24%, not a complete obliteration for the CDU. What sort of give and take have they got to offer, given the Greens are probably far more to the left than they are?
There's actually a lot of affinities. Yeah, it's interesting that you raised that point. There's a lot of affinities between parts of the Conservatives and parts of the Greens, and there's local governments where they work together successfully. But it is a huge gambling and discussion space at the moment. And I think Armin Laschet has toned down a little bit. He initially said, I will be the next chancellor, and he took that back and has become a bit more quiet. But I really think we shouldn't rule him out because Scholz is quite a strong person, someone who's very confident, but also not difficult to work with. And his political allies, potential allies, know that. So we shouldn't rule out the CDU too soon, I think.
Okay. Merkel strangely stays on as caretaker until this is resolved. You get the feeling that she's probably would like to make an exit as soon as possible. So how long could she be there for?
If you're an optimist, you would say she might have some Christmas holidays this year, but there's a lot of pessimists around. So it will at least be until Christmas, and then we might have a New Year's speech from a new chancellor, but it may well drag on a bit longer.
So at this point, too, not very clear of the role of Germany going forward in the EU, or do you think nothing much there is going to change?
It's fascinating. I looked at some of the international news coverage this morning, and there's a huge amount of anxiety around the stability of the German country, essentially, and the German democracy. And I don't think that we have to worry about that. I think Germany will remain a quite stable and liberal country, so that's not going to change. But I think I'm an optimist, and I would say that maybe there will be now some new voices that they have to listened to within Germany, but also in the European Union as a whole. We have an environmental movement. We have some really urgent issues. We have migration. We have asylum. We have a lot of areas that need to be looked at on a European level as much as on a German level. So we hope that there will be more of a discussion about these urgent issues on a European level, and that would be a very good thing. But Germany is certainly not going to crumble as a democracy.
No,
I
I'm
think.
sure no time soon, and thankfully for that. Really going to be fascinating to watch. Katerina, good to talk. Thanks.
Right.